Why we're talking about these recaps. We should just talk World Cup preview some more. Why not?
Especially this recap. Why do we have to talk about the Ravens Panthers? Both these teams should have forfeited today.
Conspiracy question. Oh, here we go. Put on your tinfoil hats. Does Vegas rig the NFL? I mean, sometimes it feels that way. Sometimes it feels that way.
In reality, no. How at this point, if they did,
P3,
you'd know for sure.
Making him fall, but it was his own dumb asshole.
Know for sure. If the NFL actually rigged games, you'd know. You know about it. You know for sure they did it. No, they don't.
What's up, P3?
At times you can locate calls and things like they don't rig games, but are they influenced maybe on all right, where to side with calls and things like that? Yes, I think so. I think probably at times to make it more interesting.
I think Tampa's turning it around. I say watch them go on a run in the second half of the season. That Rams last drive did something to the whole team. I mean, I don't know. I didn't have
Nick Wright called it, Chris, a couple weeks ago. He said, "Oh, the Bucs are in a shitty division. They're gonna win that division. They're gonna get in the playoffs. They're gonna play in their first 2 rounds. They're gonna play I don't know, like Kirk Cousins and some other shitty quarterback. They're gonna be in the NFC Championship game, even though they suck.
They're gonna,
This is what happens to Tom Brady. He's just the luckiest human on earth. So I would not count him out. Not for a second.
P3, thank you for the biddy. Appreciate the joke. My neighbor blames my gravel for making him fall, but it was his own dumb ass fault. It was his own ass fault. Yeah. Love it.
I love it. I love the pun. I love puns. Who doesn't love a good pun?
No. Hi-oh.
Hell, Scotty is correct. Prediction: England over Iran. That's not bold. Iran's very defensive minded, so it would not shock me if England and Iran ended in a 0-0 tie. Heads up there. Just saying, England's the better squad, no doubt, but 0-0 tie is very much on the table for England and Iran.
Mexico over Poland, says P3. USA over Wales. Yeah.
Wales. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Mexico, Poland's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. I'd lean Poland, but wouldn't shock me if Mexico gets the right side of that either.
Scotty, I'm going to take a quick code yellow myself, and you can get started on Panthers and Ravens.
Thank goodness I can talk about this. I was waiting for this. Spam code yellow in the chat as Chris goes to take a brief pause to code yellow it. Spam code yellow in the chat. I don't know what to say about this game, guys. This game was 3-3 late. I keep thinking that listen, we all know the Panthers suck, right? The Panthers are garbage. I keep thinking, all right, the Ravens are turning corner. They're doing this. And I've been on record prior to this year, prior to last year, forever, basically saying Lamar Jackson is not a Super Bowl champion quarterback. He's not going to lead you to a Super Bowl. Just not. I might be wrong. We'll see. I think I'm right. I think I'm very, very right. And today, I don't know. You put up 13 points, and some of those were based off turnovers from your defense. So it was ugly. It was ugly. I didn't see a ton of this game, to be honest. I was at a bar and watching other games where, teams were actually moving the football. But this game, the Ravens should have absolutely dominated, and they didn't. They didn't, especially on offense, which is my biggest concern at times with the Ravens. So Ravens didn't get it done, but got it done today. Baker Mayfield, spoiler alert, sucks at football. So if you didn't know that, you're welcome for the insight, and pay us and follow us for the subscribe for the professional opinion of Baker Mayfield sucking.
Oh, Baker. I mean, there's a reason why he's been sitting on the bench for the longest time, right?
You got called out, Chris. Phoenix doesn't think you washed your hands. Did you wash your hands?
Always wash hands.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, I thought so.
Always. Gotta. I mean, we can't be getting no COVID violations. We can't be getting no. We gotta always be washing hands, right? Yeah. No, we take care of it. Definitely. Calling me out. I see how it is. No. All right. So this game was a snooze fest, huh? I mean, this game was
It's so lame.
3-0 at halftime. It was 3-3 at the end of 3. And then the Ravens decided, okay, maybe we should put some points on the board because, that kind of how you win football games. 209 yards for Lamar Jackson, 1 interception, no touchdowns thrown. And then the running game. I mean, this team only 115 yards total rushing, which, Lamar Jackson had 31 of those. Kenyon Drake had 46. But nothing spectacular here from the Ravens. I mean, they're 7-3 after this.
They are in perfect one and done postseason form, just like I always predict, Chris.
I mean, yeah,
they will lose. They'll make the playoffs and then they'll lose in their first game, like they always do.
So, we won't spend too much time here, but overall, it's not what you want to see. Panthers host the Broncos Sunday. Are the Broncos going to get a win? Yeah, we'll get a win against the Panthers. I mean, Baker Mayfield's. I mean, how do we not?
Chris, I wouldn't guarantee any wins at this point.
I'm not guaranteeing the win. I'm just saying we should.
Felt like
win.
you might have.
we should. Let's just say. By the way, if we lose to the Panthers, it's done. I think at that point, oh man, there's no turning back on this coaching staff if the Panthers beat the Broncos next week. Ravens, meanwhile, visit the Jacksonville Jaguars again. That should be a fairly manageable game. We thought this was a fairly manageable game, but the Ravens struggled against the Panthers to really separate themselves. So,
I assume we're just going to avoid the fact that this game occurs against the Panthers and Broncos next week. We won't even discuss it, talk about it. It's not worth our time.
We'll still talk about it because
Really?
Yeah.
On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose.
Oh, weird.
We all know the Barry game of the week, Baker versus Wilson, though. Yeah, this game was only slightly more exciting than soccer. Says,
oh my goodness, this was way worse than soccer. Chairman, we agree a lot, and you've lost your damn mind when it comes to soccer. You've lost it.
He said he was going to commit
wrong.
tomorrow. He said he was going to commit, so we'll see if we can get him excited.
You're wrong. When the U.S. scores tomorrow, Chairman.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be insane.
Even if you don't care about soccer, don't tell me you get a little something inside that like ignites you, which you certainly wouldn't get in that shitty football game that was the Panthers Baltimore Ravens today.
Oh man. All right, so let's move on to a more exciting game that took place today, and that was the Falcons and the Bears. Bears visiting the Falcons, end up dropping 24-27 to the Falcons. But I mean, you're still getting crazy things happening when it comes to, Justin Fields. Justin Fields has been kind of making, some name for himself this season. They've actually given him a chance to use his strengths, and it's been paying off. Justin Fields has passed for the touchdown and a run for a touchdown in a 5th straight game, tying Kyler Murray for the most consecutive games with a pass and rushing touchdown in the Super Bowl era. So, I mean, he's already starting to put together some stats there for. I mean,
that's what you want to hear as a quarterback. Anytime you can tie a record set by Kyler Murray, you're like, I'm doing so good.
Yeah, you're crushing.
Hey, anyone want to play like Call of Duty?
Yeah, and then the new Call of Duty comes out, and then things shit hits the fan.
No, I like where Justin Fields is going. This game, Chris, I had the Bears plus 3.5. This game was 17-7 Bears, and I felt great. And then they kicked off, and it was a kickoff return for the touchdown for the Falcons, and they got a late field goal. So it was 17-17 at half, where it should have been 17-7. Bears are the better team here, but and then they had a chance at the end to take a drive. Let's go, Ray.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you,
G
G Girl.
Girl.
Let's go. Let's get a big shout out to G Girl. Thank
How was
you
the stream
guys.
tonight, G Girl?
How was the
How
stream?
was it?
Hopefully you guys had a great night watching Sunday Night Football. Obviously, the Chiefs came out on top of the Chargers here tonight. So, hey,
Wait,
Scotty's
Chiefs won?
Chiefs won. There you go.
G Girls. Someone, honestly, G Girl, I didn't see it, but I think my buddy who was here earlier was like, G Girl has like a Chiefs like headband or something on. I was like, yeah, as she should.
As she should.
Oh,
Guys,
she should.
My name is Chris. This is Scott. We are your host for the Action Lab. Guys, we do bingo. We are now 8 follows away from gifting out 2 subs. Gifting out 2 subs to our community. We do bingo every Sunday night, and one of them is getting follows for the stream. We are 8 follows away from gifting out 2 subs to the community randomly, so you guys could get a free sub tonight. So go ahead, guys. We are here live every Wednesday and Sunday, so make sure you guys join us. We are also going to be live tomorrow for USA Soccer on this channel here for USA Wales for the World Cup. Make sure you guys jump in. Give these guys a follow. You'll be glad you did. Thanks, Chairman. Appreciate that love.
Chairman. Listen, if you're not a soccer fan, totally understand. Get it. No big deal. But if you want to get involved and want the passion that you love sports, you want to get involved, watch us tomorrow. I promise you it'll be worth it.
It'll be great.
I promise you it'll be worth it. We're going to have a good time watching soccer midday tomorrow in the World Cup against Wales.
Hey, thank you for the follow, T Hill Colt, and hello,
Emma.
What's going on? Welcome, and thank you for being part of the show tonight. We will, go Brazil. There you go. Go USA. By the way, follow the stream, people. Let's go, guys. Yeah, we're here live every Wednesday and Sunday. We're doing NFL talk on Wednesday. We're also doing recap tonight. We wrap up the Sunday Night Football. We're going to be talking about all of the games. So let us know who your favorite team is and where you're from.
Good news, G Girl. We haven't even covered the Giants game. So
nope. We're still getting to that one. But
I'm kidding, G Girl. I love you. You know I love you, G Girl. You know I love you.
But yeah, so this one, Justin Fields ran for 85 yards, 1 touchdown. Also scored a touchdown throwing the ball. So David Montgomery kind of having a decent second half of the year here, 67 yards and a touchdown. So they've been getting it done on the ground. Now the Atlanta rushing game, they just split it all up. Everyone gets everyone. It's like Oprah. You get some rushing carries and you get some carries, and everybody in Atlanta.
Isn't it mostly the Rook, Tyler Algier.
Yeah, no, he was third in carries.
He was third today.
Cordero had
Patterson.
10.
Cordero
had 10, and Mariota had 13. He had and
it's fake stats,
and he only had 8. So everyone.
The Bears deserve to lose because they allowed the Falcons to score 27, which is embarrassing. The Falcons' offense is not good.
What's weird about the Falcons' offense is they put up points, but
do they? Always?
They've been putting up some decent points early on in the season. They made
a lot of people are enjoying your Cordero.
We pronounce names on this show. That's what we do.
Yeah, we do our best.
They've put up 27 against the Seahawks. They put up 27 against the Rams, 26 against the Saints. They put up 37 against the Panthers. They put up they're putting up more points than my Broncos. Marcus Mariota.
Everyone in the league is putting up more points than your Broncos.
But I'm just saying.
It's just a sad stand. Putting up more points than the team that scores the least points in the league.
Oh man! But anyways, the Falcons end up.
Chris, right now, off the top of your head, name 4 offensive players for the Falcons.
For the Falcons, just offensive all together, just running back, wide receivers,
any position on offense.
Algier, or however you pronounce it.
Yeah, I gave you that one.
Patterson,
Yeah.
obviously.
No, what's his full name? Patterson's full name?
We already covered this.
What is it? I forget.
No, we're not.
What is his name?
I'm not even gonna bite. I'm not even
What's
gonna
his
bite.
name?
Marcus Mariota's another one,
Yeah.
and then Kyle Pitts, who got.
You saw in the chat.
I didn't look at the chat. I haven't looked at the chat. I'm looking straight in. I haven't looked at the chat. Kyle Pitts, and now I'm stuck. Now I don't have anything else offensively. That's all I got. So there you go.
Drake London, first round pick.
Oh, Drake London. I forgot about Drake London.
Yeah.
Top
10 pick.
Yeah.
Number 1 wide receiver off the board this year. No big deal.
No big deal. Next up, Bengals Steelers. Now this was we are officially
off. It's done.
It's done. Our streak is over.
Stopped.
We no longer can say we have agree on a pick, our best bets, and they have come through. We have been undefeated up until this point, and sure enough, the Steelers, your boys, your boys let us down.
Rec.
They let us down.
Devil Doc.
Devil
here.
Oh,
thanks a lot, mods.
Football Life serves you right, Scotty and Chris. I mean, again, there's a lot of reasons to love the Steelers getting points in this game. And did we think the Steelers were going to win? Maybe not necessarily, but we thought it was going to be a closer game, and it was close. Like, don't get us wrong. The score doesn't indicate how close this game was all the way through. So, I mean, there was multiple lead changes throughout this game, and the Steelers were in a good spot for a while, and then they just ended up, the wheels fell off in the fourth quarter, and just all of a sudden you look up and it's starting to get out of hand, and we're just like, come on, what are we doing? So, Scotty, we fell a little short on this one. The Bengals end up getting the win, which, I don't think is a big surprise here, but you had the white Bengals, you had the black color rush for the Steelers. Pretty good division rival game here. I thought it was a decent game to keep tabs on. Bengals end up getting the win.
I blame Rec, and you probably do too.
Yeah, I
He's
do.
like, oh, we have TJ Watt, we have Minka Fitzpatrick. We're going to be so good on defense. No, you're actually straight trash on defense. Giving up 37 to the Bengals. Not good enough. I mean, if you would have told me the Steelers put up 30 in this game and plus 4.5, I'd be like, done deal.
All day.
Done deal. We got it. Elite uniform matchup today, Chris. I'll mention that. The Bengals uniforms are so elite. By the way, the white on white with the Chiefs also better than their red bottoms on the white. But regardless, this matchup uniform wise was great. It was tight. It was like 24-23 pretty late, even 27-23. But the Steelers couldn't get a lot offensively going late in the game until it was too late. I mean, the game was over. Bengals had put it away, and then kind of a garbage touchdown, basically with like 45 seconds to go by the Steelers, make it seem close. But it was close for a very, very long time. And then all of a sudden the Steelers fell apart on both sides of the ball like they do. I don't know, Chris. We took the wrong side here.
Took the wrong side. Kenny Pickett, 265, 1 touchdown, average about 6.3 yards per throw. So Burrow on the other side, 355 yards, 4 touchdowns. And, I mean, T. Higgins, 9 receptions, 148 yards, which, he was getting a lot of love from Joe Burrow.
No chase, and you give up 37? Don't love it.
Nope.
Reckoning's like Minka and Watt were fine. I'm not looking for fucking fine from Minka and Watt. I'm looking for great. I'm looking for excellence.
And here's the thing. When you're looking at this matchup, you got TJ Watt, one of the more prolific pass rushers, gets a half a sack in this game. But, I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals have struggled to protect Joe Burrow against anybody. So, I mean, this should be a feast for TJ Watt. He should have at least got like 1.5 sacks minimum, at least on this one. And, he only came up with a half a sack, which, is fine, but that's not the expectation you have going against the weak Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. So they're underperform. That's an underperformance there in reality.
And I mean, the playoff picture is becoming more and more evident in the AFC. Bengals right now are holding on to the last spot at 6-4, but Jets at 6-4 are out actually. And then you got 5-5 Chargers, 4-6-1 Colts, and then 3-7 Jacks. So it's very much, and you also have 6-4 Patriots right there at the 6th spot. So there's a lot of up in the air as far as seeding, but honestly, the AFC playoff picture is already coming into form quite a bit. Where maybe the Chargers make it a run, the Colts seem out of it. So like we know 5 of the 7, maybe 2 are up for grabs with the Jets, the Bengals, Jets, Chargers, and Colts in the mix, or even the Patriots. Actually, I don't think the Colts are in the mix. So Patriots, Bengals, Jets, Chargers fighting for 2 spots. We'll see what happens there, but yeah, it's already kind of weeding itself out, Chris.
Devil Dog Pickett didn't lose at the game, so there's that. Pickett has plenty of potential, says Rec.
That's the goal, to not lose the game. Okay.
Yeah, and what else?
No, Joker asked Scotty, did you say the Chiefs unis are better than Bengals all whites? No, I like the Bengals all whites better. I am just saying that the Chiefs should wear on the road all whites instead of the red pants that they usually wear. That's all. But no, the Bengals all whites are better, no doubt.
Mike's going to take Jets and Pats off the board, says Phoenix. Hey, you hope so. I hope they bounce back. But yeah, so there you go. So Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at these two and what they have coming up. So we have Bengals travel to AFC South leading Tennessee. Tennessee 7-3. They go down there, and that's going to be next Sunday. Steelers visit the Colts, 4-6-1 Colts on Monday Night Football. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Colts and Steelers, Monday Night Football. There you go. More primetime gold for everybody out there looking to catch that one. But, man, primetime has been rough this year, man. A lot of Sunday Night Football games have been kind of like not super.
Hey,
but
we had a good one tonight.
We did have a good one tonight. There you go. Mixon went out with a concussion. So I didn't catch
Kareem Samaje out of Oklahoma. Both their backs are out of Oklahoma.
3 touchdowns for him, by the way. Yeah.
So he did. I don't feel like they missed a beat there. But SCG, I didn't like the Chiefs all red. My favorite color is red too.
He means
I meant
white.
No, and then he said, I mean white with red. Yeah, no, I don't like the white with red look. I like the white on white. I don't even like the red on red. Sometimes they wear red on red. No, thank you. Red on white is pinnacle. White on white, second best for Chiefs. And after that, it's like kind of whatever.
Boofus, what's going on? Just saying what's up. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good weekend. Boofus. Najee averaged 4.5 on 20 carries today. Lions taking steps forward. Pickett only sacked 2 times as well. Small victories.
Yeah. Yeah. I to be honest, like I was all in red zone and at a bar and this and that, so I didn't see play to play on that one. I'd have to check back because I'm ultimately. It seems like you guys are protecting Pickett quite a bit, which is fine. I mean, the roster's not great. The results shouldn't be great. I don't believe that Pickett's going to be great or even good, really. I think at best, Pickett, it's like a run-of-the-mill average quarterback.
I think there was, if you're
That's just my opinion.
Going back to some of the draft evaluations for Pickett was, there was some questions about his deep ball. And there were a handful of deep balls that I saw in this game that he just couldn't connect on that I feel like he probably should have. And the accuracy downfield on the big throws, I'm having trouble seeing those. And I haven't watched every snap of the Pittsburgh Steelers and Kenny Pickett, but I feel like that there's going to be those questions, knowing that he had that question coming into the NFL about, all right, let's get these. He missed some. he could have made some of those, but would have been a 49-yard touchdown. Woulda, coulda. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I get what you're saying though. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about with how he carries himself. So, there's that. So
People, they're saying like Pickett got a presence. He's getting close. He's average already at QB. Yeah, I mean, the guy's like 2.5 years younger than Mahomes. He came in old. He's old for a rookie. He's old, and it took a long time at Pitt to kind of figure it out. I don't see the elite traits. I love his moxie. I love his enthusiasm. I love his work ethic. I love those features, and that fits really well with Pittsburgh, right? Like the city of Pittsburgh. Like that's what you want. But there's just not, in my opinion, the elite traits on any of the traits you want to see. To think that he's gonna like lead the Steelers to something.
I love it.
I'm gonna be honest.
I just think about that. It's like Pickett's old, and I just think of old school. Damn it, Blue
He's
is old.
He's 24 already.
Damn it,
Chris, and Mahomes is 27.
Blue's old, and that's what old people do. They die.
They die. They die.
My man.
Chairman, it's so weird that Mahomes came up during the game review. What are the odds? I'm just trying to make a comparison. Okay. But yeah, fair.
Roger.
Fair, Chairman.
Next up, we got the Browns.
I could compare him to like Goff. How old's Goff? He's probably like 27 as well. Maybe 29.
We had, like 6 feet of snow. No big deal. Hit the Buffalo Bills stadium. I mean, like, did you see the clips of the stadium? Like, did you see any of the social media on like how much snow was out there? It was ridiculous. But they got out.
Missed opportunity.
They got out and they were able to make it to the Motor City to play this game. Detroit playing this game out there. Now, they didn't have time to paint the field or anything for either team coming in, but they did take advantage of.
Could have had time. They weren't going to do it though.
They came in and both teams started slow in this one. Cleveland actually was leading this one after 7-3 after the first quarter. So then, obviously the Bills started turning it on a little bit, and then the Browns browned. And it was kind of the Bills from there on out. But, they were able to dodge the snowy weather, get a win in Detroit. And, hey, you'll take it. You'll take it given the circumstances. Josh Allen, 197 yards, 1 touchdown. So, he didn't have a spectacular game. 63 QBR. Nothing to, get super stoked about. But, Singletary and James Cook. James Cook looked good in this one, getting some carries. 11 carries for James Cook because he's on my fantasy team too. Love the fact that he's actually getting some love now, so appreciate that. Brissett on the other side had a much better game from a quarterback standpoint. 324 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. So, obviously he, tried to take advantage of, trying to put it to this Buffalo Bills team, but just came up short.
Yeah. Moon talked about it earlier, like excited about this game. This game on paper looks very evenly matched. Granted, the Bills were in a tough spot, had to get out of town eventually. What I'm confused about is why are the Bills play on Thursday, right? Against the Red Hot Lions. Let's go, Chairman. But like they're going back to Buffalo before that game. I'm just kind of like, why? What are you doing? You're making it hurt yourself. But this game alone, you're right. Like the stats don't obviously, Allen only thrown for 197. They did a lot on the ground. Despite Jacoby Brissett throwing for 324, there were and 3 TDs, it wasn't enough. Brissett played, in my mind, better than Josh Allen did today. So there's still questions on the Bills in my mind moving forward after this game. But obviously it's a weird situation. You're barely getting out of town to play a home game in Detroit against a team, and then you're gonna travel back to Buffalo that night and then come back to Detroit in like 2 days. I don't understand that, to be honest. I don't get that at all. But I'm also not a head coach of a football team. I'm like this close, I think. Like I will be in the running. Like you'll hear my name mentioned this offseason, Chris. But not yet.
You'll get there one day. You'll get there one day.
I think so. I think so.
I mean, I think it's kind of odd too. I mean, on this turnaround, you're going to be in the same spot. I just like why? Like just stay, just stay. But yeah, it is.
Even everyone was like, "Oh, this is really convenient. You can just stay there because you're playing there on Thursday." And the Bills are like, "Nope, we're going back home and coming back for no reason at all."
We got to get Von Miller back on stream. He's got to gift out some more, cards and different things that he gifts out on his stream. And like,
hey, put in the chat. Did you guys enjoy Von Miller's stream?
Yeah,
just put in the chat
for you guys who were here last stream. Yeah.
Did you enjoy Von Miller's stream? Yeah, not a lot here, but Chairman, I just want to say, football aside, the fans from both teams, because I think he went to the game. He's from Detroit. Were great today. A couple of Bills fans thanked us for hosting. Bills fans are great. Most Bill fans are absolutely incredible. They will be polite. They'll be kind. They're passionate. They're the perfect fan.
Browns are losing, but still nice to watch as Boofus. Well,
nice to watch. Okay.
He's
Boofus. Boofus, are you excited for the premiere of your good old boy Deshaun Watson in like 2 weeks?
Deshaun, that's going to be all over the news. I'm telling you, it's going to be unfortunately
playing against the Texans in his opener.
Coincidence? I mean,
hide your kids, hide your wife.
The Bills said they wanted to make it as normal as possible, and it's only like an hour flight. Still,
you're flying. You got to get there. You got to go home. You got to do this. You got to get back on a flight later.
Packing, unpacking, getting everything, like equipment managers.
I would stay there. I would stay in Detroit.
Can you imagine the equipment managers probably like, come on, man, don't do this to me.
Chairman, you should be psyched. Your team might beat the Buffalo Bills on Thursday.
It's going to be, hey, we got Thursday football. We got Thanksgiving football coming up. By the way, guys, we'll say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Everyone?
We're gonna say it to everybody. I'm just kidding.
Everybody. We
joking.
We will have our Wednesday night stream, so there's that. But we'll say it again.
And tomorrow.
So plenty of options to be thankful for you guys. We'll get more into that later this week.
We are thankful for you guys.
Cowboys and Vikings. Sorry, Phoenix. Sorry, Joker. We're going to cover this game. Scotty and I both talked about this Wednesday about how we both liked the Cowboys on the point spread. And we were like, everyone was like, oh, this is insane. The Vikings only lost one game. Cowboys are coming off a bad loss in Green Bay. And, the Green Bay circumstances and everything. But then they were coming out on a back-to-back road game here to Minnesota. In a controlled environment, no issues, which is where, Dak and the Cowboys, they play in a controlled environment at home, so they feel comfortable. And, come to find out, Kirk Cousins struggles a little bit against the Dallas Cowboys. 2-8 against the Cowboys. His worst record of any team that he plays against at all. So, that being said, I didn't think it was going to be a blowout, Scotty. I thought maybe it would be a close game. I thought maybe the Cowboys would come out on top by a touchdown, maybe more, maybe like 10 points, maybe. And you see this outcome, and you're just like,
I'm mad that I didn't make it a pick of the week.
Oh my goodness,
Chris! I was surrounded by Cowboy fans today who were like, "Why is this spread what it is? Like, why are the Cowboys favored? That's idiotic." And these are Cowboy fans, my friends. And I was like, sirs, please don't panic. I promise you. And then I was like, oh, this makes me even more confident that Cowboy fans are doubtful on this spread. I'm like, so it became my most aggressive bet this weekend on the Cowboys. That was my bet of the week. Eventually, I just didn't get there in our picks, but Made some money today on now 40-3. It was a super weird game, Chris. Like the Cowboys scored 40, and I don't think their offense, especially passing wise, played great at all. Like I can't pinpoint and remember even a pass that Dak made where it was just like, oh, what a great pass by Dak. You know? But the offensive line and running game was dominant. The defense, obviously, holding the Vikings to 3 was dominant. The Cowboys are, in my mind, right in the mix in the NFC to represent the Super Bowl. They're only going to improve. Prior to today's game, the rumor was that like OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., was down to, or at least visiting 2 teams, the Giants and Cowboys. And those teams went in different directions today, Chris.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And then, this game, Cowboys defeated the Vikings 40-3 in Minnesota. Largest road win in franchise history for the Cowboys, plus 37. 37-point loss to the Vikings is their second largest home loss in franchise history. They lost by 40 to the Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals in 1963. St. Louis Cardinals, not the baseball team. Tony Pollard had 109 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns along with 80 yards on the ground. Pollard became the first Cowboys player with at least 100 receiving yards and 50 rushing yards since Emmitt Smith in 1993. But by the way, I mean,
people talking about the Cowboys not making the Super Bowl on the chat, Chris, because of McCarthy, which is fair.
It's fair.
It's a great argument. That's their biggest weakness, probably. Now, Dan Quinn is a tremendous strength on defensive calling on that as the D coordinator. But I guess the other issue is no one in the NFC wants to win.
Nobody
like
wants
the NFC is literally like teams just being like, nah, I'm good. Like I would actually prefer a longer break.
So I mean,
I don't want to play in the playoffs or Super Bowl. That'd just be stupid.
Well, you got top teams like, the Vikings lost this week. You got the Eagles losing last week. You got,
Eagles should have lost today.
I mean, we'll get to that in a second, which is another interesting game too. Cowboys seem to be they seem to be wanting to take this a little bit more.
They also lost to the Packers last week. Like,
true.
Any given week,
But that's what concerns me about Dallas in the playoffs. If they get into a situation where they're on the road at any point.
No, they're more consistent than these other teams that don't even show up.
Well, depending on, late season on the road for a team that likes to play indoors, depending on where that again, they're not, the Packers aren't going to make the playoffs.
Chris, I have a funny feeling. And I hate this feeling, but I think it's going to be fucking Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl. And I hate saying Bucks out loud because they're garbage. I know they're garbage, but someone should have buried them when they were complete trash. And now they're in a division where no one's good. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to make the playoffs, and then they're going to play Kirk Cousins, and they're going to play maybe Jalen Hurts or quarterbacks that don't win in the playoffs, don't have that success, and we're gonna run into somehow the Bucks and Tom Brady in the Super Bowl again, and I would hate it. I hate it. I hate saying it out loud. I don't want that, to be clear. I would literally prefer any other team in the NFC than the Bucks. I just have a weird feeling that shit is gonna go down.
I hope you're wrong. I hope
I'm wrong too.
This score is hilarious. Says hello, Emma. Yeah, it's a weird score for an 8-1. Man, it's kind of crazy. Super Cooper would have wowed you. He would have. Super Cooper, get out of here. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Nope. We're done with Coop after today.
And also, Super Cooper's on the bench. Yeah, Super Coop is done.
Uber Rush is done.
This game was pathetic, says Phoenix. Yeah, it's on to the next one. You chalk this up. It's done. You're on to the next one. Scotty, let's agree on this. No matter who makes the Super Bowl in the NFC, Chiefs/Bills win it. I think the AFC does.
If those two teams are in it, they'll certainly be heavy favorites.
Yeah. I think the AFC is going to be representing as the Super Bowl champion, regardless of what comes out of the NFC. I know the Eagles have gotten a lot of love, and I know there's a lot of hype around a couple other teams, but
I haven't seen, but at times you can always bet on like AFC versus NFC odds on Super Bowl. If you can get even odds on AFC right now, dump money on it.
Take it.
Dump money on it.
If I see Tom
AFC
Brady
is way better.
in one more Super Bowl, I'm losing it, says Boofus. All of us will.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, I hate saying it out loud. And hello, Emma's like, I hate that as a Chiefs fan. I hate it too. I hate it. Like, he's 5-5. He doesn't even deserve to be like in the mix at all. That team is garbage. He's garbage. But somehow Tom Brady finds a fucking way, man. I don't get it. I can't understand it. He clearly sold his soul to the devil. Obviously, I think that's apparent for everyone.
Let's just say he tends to be in the right places at the end of the playoffs, and he's always like in the mix, regardless of his team and what's going on, like the standings, the landscape of how they've played over the course of the season, all of it.
And he's not the most talented quarterback ever, most successful quarterback ever. So when you talk about GOAT, if you want to talk about most successful, it's Brady all day, every day. If you want to talk about most talented, most like in awe watching him, most stats related, it's not Brady. It's not even close to Brady.
Next up, Lions at Giants. The G-Men drop to 7-3 today. So, we Scotty,
Try to tell you on Wednesday.
The Lions come in, they win their third consecutive game. So, I mean, hey, chairman, they're looking good. They got wins against the Packers, the Bears, and the Giants right here. So, they're doing what they need to do. Williams is just leading the Lions with this one. Obviously DeAndre Swift is, if you have a DeAndre Swift on your fantasy football team, it's not panning out for you so well. But Jamal Williams ran for a career-high 3 touchdowns. Lions stunned the New York Giants 31-18, posted consecutive road wins and their first 3-game winning streak since November of 2017. Guys, the Lions, they're for real. 4-6. Crazy. So Daniel Jones, 341 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. By the way, he only had 3 interceptions coming into this game on the season. All of a sudden, he has 2 in this one. So almost matching his season total up until this point. Hasn't had any issues throwing interceptions, but had some trouble today. Jared Goff, for a Lions team that put up 31 points, he had 165 yards passing. Like, that's it. 17 for 26. So didn't really, just light up the scoreboard with his arm by any means. But hey, it was good enough for the Lions to get it done. Defense was big. Aiden Hutchinson is having a great year, by the way, as a rookie. You don't think so?
Very good. Great is maybe excessive, but very, very good.
I mean, what? He had another interception in this one, I think, right? I think he...
Yeah, but those aren't real things. You don't draft a pass rushing defensive lineman to get picks. Those are flukes.
But he does a lot of things, right? I mean, he had an interception, and then he recovered a fumble to help set up 14 points. So
fluke.
I mean, he was in the right place at the right time.
Listen, yeah, I love Aiden Hutchinson. He's been great. Yeah, very, very good, I would say, but like hasn't like overachieved his draft spot. He's maybe lived up to his draft spot, which is great because he was number 2. So
yep,
number 1 didn't do it. Which I said at the time. I said number 1 was an awful pick, and he will continue to be an awful pick till the end of time, Chris.
Man. Lions on a winning streak. Yeah, some BS. G girl. This tryouts? Why is Danny Dimes throwing 44 times in this one? Says G girl.
I said it on Wednesday, and I think I got you a little upset, but I said, what happens to the Giants when they get down early and they have to throw the ball a lot? And that's kind of what happened today. I mean, today it was 17-6 at half, and then quickly it was 24-6, 31-6. Like, it got ugly. I don't know if it ever got to 31-6, but it was definitely 24-6. So that's when Danny Dimes has to throw the ball. They're just not a team. The Giants aren't a team set up to come back from a deficit like that. So if you get up on the Giants, like, you got to feel good about it. They haven't had that happen a lot, so credit the Giants to like prevent that from happening. But today it did, and you saw the result, which I kind of called out. I called out that I like the Lions in this one. I think I was kind of laughed at. I think I was laughed at by the chat.
Well, and it was reflected in look at their number one guy, Saquon Barkley, only had 15 carries in this one because it did get out of hand fast. I mean,
yeah, you can't run the ball when you're down 3 scores in the third quarter.
Yeah, G-Girl, why Saquon wasn't used?
He also had 15 carries for 22 yards. So that's another reason.
So
1.5 yards per carry. Like, it wasn't working. Wasn't working.
Yeah, the Lions were preparing for the running game as well. I mean, knowing that was forcing Daniel Jones to put the ball in the air, which, I mean, again, that's why he had 44 attempts. They were making Daniel Jones beat him with his arm, and again, it resulted in a couple picks, ton of attempts in this one. So, yeah, I mean, again, you have to abandon the run. You can't keep running the ball when you're down by double digits, and so it just makes
like we don't have any receivers. Rumor is that it might be down to 2 teams for Odell, between the Giants, ironically, and the Cowboys in the same division. I think, don't hate me, G-Girl. I think I told before this rumor came out, which was like yesterday, I told Cowboy friends, I think he would help the Cowboys more than any other roster in the league right now. As far as a roster that could potentially make a run in the playoffs. Like, obviously, G-Girl, yeah, your receivers are bad, but like, I don't know if Danny Dimes, to be honest, like, takes you over the top. G-Girl, and you remember 5 weeks ago, you were like, yeah, we're winning games, but I don't think we're legit. Like, I'm still there with the Giants. I'm sorry. I don't think the Giants are legit.
Well, and Ted FX has an interesting point here too. You have Jones throw the ball so much because you're still evaluating him to see if he's the guy. Now,
this is year 5. They know he's not the guy. Jones is not the guy. To be clear.
And here's the thing: like, when you have success early on in the season and he looks good with Saquon kind of carrying the load a ton in this one,
he was a game manager, man.
And that's what I'm kind of with you on that one, Scotty, because I'm like,
you could literally replace
Danny
Dimes with like Mariota, and it'd be the same record. Like, the Giants already know, if you don't extend a first-round quarterback on their 5th year, you already know. You already know. They've seen enough. Danny Dimes is not it. He's gonna be a backup after this year. Whether that's in New York or somewhere else, that's just the reality. And if he's a starter, that team's making, in my opinion, a mistake.
Interesting. Okay.
G-Girl says he's never had receivers. Never had receivers?
I mean, what?
G-Girl, there are way worse QBs. True. There are way worse. I'm not saying Danny Dimes is, but Danny Dimes is not, in my mind, top half of the league. He's probably right around like 17 to 20 in my mind as far as quarterbacks in the league. And that's not good enough. Are there way worse quarterbacks? Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, that was the big question coming in, was like, this was the year of who is he? Like, is he the guy? We talked about that with Houston in Davis in Mills, right? We talked about it in a couple other spots. I mean, there's a lot of places that we were like, all right, is he the guy or is he not the guy? It's like shit or get off the pot. You got to make decisions on your quarterbacks and if these guys are going to get you over the hump.
G-Girl's protecting him a lot. G-Girl, let us know in the chat. Honestly, would you like to see Danny Dimes extended for, let's say, the next 3 years and be your quarterback as a Giants fan? Would you like that? Would that be like a good, like, let's say, I forget the money. Let's say the money is like, you like the money offer.
I mean,
Yeah, it's just, I'm letting you know.
yeah, I would give him receivers.
I disagree, but I can also understand where you're coming from. I just don't think Danny's it. What's Danny's like upside?
I guess.
And I've been wrong. Like, Tua's upside right now is higher than I thought. Obviously, he's surrounded by a lot of talent.
But again, you said year 5, and
He's in year 5.
And
Yeah.
we came into the season asking, is he the guy? The Giants were asking that question. I think everybody was asking that question. And if you're asking that question in year 5, whether or not he's the guy and whether or not you need and do you watch him play every week? Dude can run. He's getting more of that now. That I feel like he's trying to do the Josh Allen impression. He's trying to do a lot of quarterbacks are starting to use their feet to move the ball and everything else. So, we have 3 losses and this guy's getting trapped.
But you have 3 losses not because of him. At times, despite him. No offense. I love the Giants and what they've done this year, but it's not because of Danny Dimes. They're not 7-3 because he's just slinging the ball around and dominating. They're 7-3 because they win close football games.
I mean, we'll see.
Listen, I just never if you don't have a quarterback that you can envision being top 10 in the league, then you're probably not. You should not be happy with your quarterback. And Danny Dimes will never be a top 10 quarterback in my mind. Never.
Shepard, Slayton,
Never.
Tate, Mac, Pettis, Galladay, James. None have struck fear in the defenses in some time, says Devil Dog. They're 7-3 because of Saquon Barkley, says Chairman. I mean, he's a big part of what they've been doing, and I think Danny Dimes.
They're in close games and they're never down that much, so they can run the ball. And they have a elite running back. I love Saquon. I give so much credit to where the Giants are right now.
Yeah.
No one thought the Giants would be 7-3. I appreciate what they've done. I just don't think Danny Dimes is the future to lead you to. I think as a Giants fan, you want greatness, and Danny Dimes isn't going to lead you to greatness. He might lead you to the hall of good, but if you want to win important football games and win a Super Bowl, Danny Dimes is not going to do that. That's all I'm saying.
Taking Kenny with a good OC and a good O-line over the handful of QBs. So yeah, we'll degrees. Yeah, just chiming in there. But I mean, I think this is a conversation that we're gonna have as the season progresses. Because I mean, all right, let's take a look at real quick. Let's look at these 2 teams and who they got coming up, and then
G-Girl Eli was way better than Danny Dimes, though. Way better.
So
way better.
We have
Dude was a number 1 pick overall in the draft for a reason. Way better than Danny Dimes has ever even thought of being.
Lions host Buffalo in Thanksgiving, and the Giants travel to Dallas for a rare Thanksgiving game for New York. So, and here's the thing. So, I mean, we're looking at the remaining schedule for the Giants. So you got coming up Cowboys at Cowboys this week, Commanders, Eagles, Commanders, Vikings, Colts, and Eagles. So a couple big time tests there for the. And again, I want to see how the Giants can, again, avoid these situations where they dig themselves holes and they can't rely on Saquon to get them back in the games necessarily when you're running the ball and you're behind. That's just not a recipe for winning a game. So, it's just we want to see what they can do against some of these more potent offenses. If you don't have to pay $40 million for a quarterback, the Giants can build a good roster, says Milwaukee's.
And Giro falls, I don't want a $30 million QB. I think the running rate for like a starting quarterback starts at 30. Like that's just the way the market's gone.
It's top heavy. It's
I
top.
mean, Danny Dimes, wherever he plays next year, is in for a big raise.
Chairman's like, the Lions played today too, guys. They won, actually.
Oh, wait, who did they play? Who did they play?
just throwing that out there, Chairman.
The Lions, red hot, baby. Red hot. 3 in a row for the Lions. Look that up, Chairman. When's the last time the Lions won 3 games in a row?
I mean,
was that before our birth? Was it?
I think I said,
pre-birth?
didn't I say 2017? I think I said 2017.
Did they win 3 games in a row in 2017?
I think it was. I think that was it.
Wow.
Anyways, next on to the next one. Rams and Saints. The Rams continue their absolutely abysmal year, and they just look worse and worse and worse. I mean, when you don't have your top option, Cooper Kupp's out at least for 4 weeks, and you at this point, the Rams are just a shell of what they were from the Super Bowl, and there's just no shot that they're 3-7 at this point, and there's no shot that they're going to be in the mix for anything else coming up. So, I mean, Andy Dalton torched them Andy Dalton, when I'm saying that, that's kind of scary. 3 touchdowns, 260 yards, and he just had a field day. My boy Olave had a touchdown and 102 yards, but I mean, finally, they're like, oh, Akers, let's give him 14 carries after he's been in the doghouse all year. And, Atwell was their number 1 receiver, 1 reception, 62 yards. That's it. And a touchdown. That was the extent of what was going on. Matt Stafford had another concussion thing going on here. So, he already had a concussion and then came back here again and has another issue here. We're getting back into the Tua conversation with the concussions back to back real quick. So, let's just say Matt Stafford's not going to be around. They're going to be going with a bunch of backup quarterbacks, and it's just going to be that's just how this is going to run out of gas real quick for the Rams. But meanwhile, the New Orleans Saints 4-7, not really having a lot of success themselves, but they do end up capitalizing on a win here at home against the Rams.
Yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this game, but the Rams and everyone's saying this is the model, just F them picks.
F them picks.
Well, it worked fortunately in their favor for 1 year, and now they are garbage, trash, awful. Chairman made a good point. Remember the Stafford to the Rams trade. The first rounder the Lions are getting will be better than the pick the Lions own in the first round. So
Boom.
The Lions are basically not only on a 3-game winning streak, Chris, but they're going to add essentially 3 first-round picks. Jameson Williams, who they moved up and traded for and got in the first round this year, wide receiver, hasn't played it down yet.
Crazy.
So, and then you have 2 first-rounders with the Rams and your own next year. Like, the Lions are up and coming. G-Girl, it's out of the chat a little bit. G-Girl, I just want to be clear. I'm not against the Giants. I'm not hating on the Giants. I just think as a Giants fan, you shouldn't be satisfied with Danny Dimes. You need better. You will not win a Super Bowl. If that's your goal. If your goal is just to be okay and make a playoff, maybe win a game in the playoffs, maybe Danny Dimes can do that. But Danny Dimes will not breathe a Super Bowl championship. And that's why I'm hating on them, if you want to call it that. It's not good. Not good enough. Sorry.
Andrew Whitworth meant more to that team than any of us realized his reckoning. I mean, like, that's saying something. An old man meant more to that team, which, I mean, again, he's a heart and soul. He's good, too.
That O-line was garbage after he left.
Yeah,
so,
it was. I mean, it's crazy to say. Whiskey Tango Bravo, Whiskey Echo Bravo, I'm sorry. What's up? Going? How you doing? Scotty was hurt by someone named Danny, says Cuban. So, yeah, poor little soul.
Maybe, but like, tell me I'm wrong on Danny Dimes. Would you, if you were unaffiliated and you just had Danny Dimes as your quarterback of your team and nothing else to go off of, would you be satisfied? Would you be happy with that? Having Danny Dimes as your quarterback and knowing nothing else? No.
I think
No, you'd say fuck that. You'd say fuck that.
there's some challenges I think with, again, he's had a good season, right? I mean, he's been, I think this season he's been better than I would normally expect him to be. So, but again, to your point, is he the guy that gets you over the hump and win you a Super Bowl? And like that's the key, right? I mean, that like there's only a handful of guys that you feel comfortable. I mean, I could have questions with like Dak. I don't know if he can win a Super Bowl. I can't say that about Dak. So I mean, he's had that criticism of winning big games, and he's had, there's now, obviously we could go into this with like name a bunch of other quarterbacks and like evaluate and compare and this and that. But maybe that's something we do. Maybe we talk about that. Who realistically has chance to win the Super Bowl every single year based off of the quarterback on the roster? Maybe we have that conversation.
Yeah,
it might be a difficult one for some people.
Reckoning through at a somewhat good question. Like, who would you rather have, 2 gloves or Danny Dimes? And that's hard for me because what I want to answer is neither. I don't want either, to be honest. Maybe I just stick with that. I don't want either. No offense to either quarterback, 2 gloves or Danny Dimes, but like neither of them, I feel like are going to lead you to anything. So I would take none of the above, if that's an option. I would take Cooper Rush, quite frankly.
Wrong answer. You got to pick one.
If I have to pick one, I'll take 2 gloves, only because he's younger and maybe he shocks us.
More potential from that, from just a pure raw quarterback standpoint.
Yeah. Like, well, and younger, not much younger age-wise, but younger in the league. Because he came in old as shit. Like, 2 gloves came in very old. Kenny Pickett came in very seasoned, very old. Didn't do elite things at Pittsburgh until later in his career. Like, there were so many red flags, in my opinion. And now we're here with them.
Football wife's like, you skipped over the Rams Saints game. That's because there's not really too much to talk about with these two.
What are we going to talk about?
Because basically you have
what's his name? Jameis was crying before the game, being upset that like he lost his job due to injury, and he's like, that's not supposed to happen. That's like the cardinal rule. You can't lose your job due to injury.
Ask Tom Brady about how that worked out when he took over the job for an injury in New England back in the day, and it's just you always do that.
Degrees. Damn, not all QBs can be Mahomes. LMAO, chill. That's maybe that's fair. Maybe I'm irrationally putting too much on quarterbacks, but in my mind, you either have a quarterback that can win a Super Bowl or you don't. And if you don't, you gotta change shit.
I mean, yeah. You got Allen, who's solid. You have a lot of guys that are on their way up, I think, to being.
There's probably 10 to 12 guys that I would put in the ranks of like could. Yeah. But I wouldn't put like Danny Dimes or Kenny Pickett in that picture. Not right now, at least.
Let's see. What else do we have? 2 gloves, potential Jones, strides. Good pick, Scotty. Glad you're coming around. A Cooper Rush. Super Cooper. So
I'm definitely not.
Chris Olave, yeah, great. I mean, again,
Chris Olave had a nice catch. Chris Olave is legit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's going to be good. He's going to have a great career. I think he's going to be solid. I mean, when they get a quarterback, speaking of quarterbacks down in New Orleans that they can be confident in, yeah, I think that they're going to have a really good team. Stafford, as I mentioned, with the concussions, he's back-to-back concussions real quick. So, again, there's going to be some concussion protocol situations with him. And given where the Rams are this season, I mean, you're going to sit him for a little bit, right? I mean, at this point, you're not. It's about player safety, and you're not winning games.
Why play him next week against the Chiefs? That's a waste of time. Rest him.
He's gonna. Well, concussion protocols based off of what's been going on. There's no shot that he's gonna probably play that game. Let's
Yeah.
see. Stafford has been getting knocked around all season. Kind of hope they keep him. Yeah, exactly, Chairman. I'm with you. We don't need another situation like the Tua thing where we see Matt Stafford just like hands all contorted on the middle of the field. If you watch to see Kenny doesn't have the OC or good O line, gets better every game. He's better than a few starters who are not rookies. You're comparing a rookie to a guy whose 5th-year option wasn't picked up. Says Degrees.
And quite frankly, I compared him favorably. I would choose him over that guy. But I like, listen, a lot of Steelers fans in here. What is Kenny Pickett's ultimate upside? What's his upside? If he reaches his ultimate upside, what does he rank as a quarterback in the league? Not to mention that Steelers fans apparently hate their head coach. They hate Tomlin, right?
True.
Hate him. So, like, then you're restarting with a new process. By the way, he's a rookie, but he's also old as shit for a rookie. For me, Kenny Pickett does not have anywhere near top 10 upside to me.
I think
He will never be a top 10 quarterback in the league.
I think Kenny Pickett's ceiling is probably like a Kirk Cousins like style. I think
Cousins, Derek Carr, maybe.
I think he could
like
fit.
that's ceiling. That's ceiling.
Yeah, I think that's where if I were to see a successful career for Pickett, it would be like what you're seeing from those like quarterbacks 11 through 14. The Cousins, the Derek Carrs, some of these guys that like you have talent, but and still have a shot. I think that's where, and he could prove us wrong again. We never know, but that's, in my opinion, that's where I see it. Tomlin had some bad mistakes this year. His hands can only get bigger from here, says Cuban. Well, I mean, they stopped growing at some point, I think.
Yeah, no, but he's right. They can only get bigger. They're not going to shrink, Chris.
As a Steelers fan, man, these fans are spoiled. I actually think he'll be very good in Pittsburgh. And I mean, he has a lot of interesting intangibles that I think can help him in that process of being better. And, who knows? Maybe they'll change coach. Maybe they'll do a lot of things. But, all that's going to have an impact on his career regardless. If you get a bad coach coming in, if you get a good coach, if you stick with Tom, I mean, whatever that looks like, there's a lot of factors that play into that as well. But from a pure quarterback passing standpoint, there are some limitations, and rightfully so. Coming out of college, I think there was some things that he needs to work on. And if those don't ever pan out, then you're in a situation where you're looking elsewhere at some point potentially. Who knows?
It's all across the board. We have a lot of Steelers fans that are like, oh, give him time, this and that, and Chairman, and like he doesn't have a good O-line, he doesn't have a good play caller, and then Chairman's like, Pickett has a chance to be good because he's playing for Tomlin. Like, it's all across the board.
Well, by the way, I'm loving the in-depth conversations because, like,
I love it.
It's not.
I love the argument.
I love the fact that we're like getting into this.
I love Pickett's attitude. I love his like moxie or whatever. I love all of that, and I appreciate that. I just don't see traits that equate to a guy that's gonna be top 10 in the league at quarterback position. I just don't. That's me. I could be wrong. It doesn't mean I hate him. Doesn't mean I hate you guys. And I respect your opinions. I could be very wrong on that. That's just my opinion. Is I respect him. I respect his work ethic. I respect his attitude. I respect his moxie. All of those things. The traits are my issue. Like, I just don't see elite traits at all.
Degrees. We'll leave it on this one. He's a rookie. He takes strides every game. I mean, our OC is just not that good, and the O-line is not good.
Your OC sucks.
Yeah.
No doubt. So Canada sucks.
There's struggles. So yeah, totally get that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's things that can help him or hurt him depending on how the team moves forward. I mean, if they hire somebody new at the OC and he sucks too, I mean, there's the development could potentially. I mean, you never know. It's going to take a little time. This is his first year, so just from an evaluation standpoint, it's just we'll see how the end of the season looks for him. I mean, he's getting a lot of good experience this first year.
Just Chris, the narrative is weird, right? Because even Steelers fans last year were like, Ben is done. He's kind of trash. And that team made the playoffs. And this team isn't going to touch the playoffs with a rookie quarterback. And they're just like, well, just give him time. Like, he's not as good as the trash quarterback we had last season, obviously. And to me, that's just like, you're protecting. You're delaying the inevitable. If there were traits there, I would be all on board. Like I said, like Justin Fields, give it time. There's traits there. There's things that you can develop. Like there's not a ton of trait. Like he's kind of who he is. Can he get better? Can he read defenses? Can he figure out where to go with the ball? Can he get more comfortable with his wide receivers? Of course. But will he ever be a top 10 wide receiver or a top 10 quarterback? In my mind, no. That's all I'm saying.
I'm a stick up for him. He's a pit boy. Hey, do it. Like stick up for the guys, and like you always want.
I've been wrong, like once.
Yeah, maybe a few more times than that. But let's just put that out there. But yeah. So guys, by the way, like love these debates. I feel like we don't have, which is
I love it. I love it
for having a sports channel. To not have these debates as often as we probably should is kind of crazy to me. I feel like we should have more of these kind of debates because, obviously you guys, have your opinions on things. You have your strong opinions on a lot of different aspects of your team, your roster, your coaches, everything else. We have strong opinions, and that's what sports is all about, right? That's what we're doing here is creating and generating these conversations and like, getting different perspectives from different people. And so that's what I love about sports. That's why we do this channel. So keep this up. I love this. But Scotty, not every team has Kelsey or an elite O-line.
So, real quick, G-Girl, on that. By the way, they made a Super Bowl with a garbage O-line a couple years ago. And
I'm going to take a quick code yellow.
Coming into this year. Yeah, go to code yellow. Coming into this year, everyone was like, every year thus far with Mahomes, they're like, yeah, but he has Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, so he has he has a great situation, so of course he's doing well. Mahomes is just a product of what's in front of him. And then those same people, I promise you, this offseason were like, oh, they lost Tyreek. They're gonna fall off a little bit. They're still going to be a good offense, but they're going to fall off without Tyreek. And I took notes on that. I was just like, yeah, all right. And guess what? They're leading the NFL in offense this year. Points per game. Kind of an important stat. No, it was way before Eric Fisher got hurt. Their right tackle, all-pro right tackle, Mitchell Schwartz was hurt. There was so many people hurt, reckoning. But yeah, Eric Fisher getting hurt in the AFC Championship game sucked. But listen, like, my point, I guess, is like everyone was like, oh, now Mahomes is going to fail because he doesn't have Tyreek. And now Mahomes is doing great, and everyone's like, yeah, but he has Kelsey. He has Andy Reid. He literally Mahomes can't do anything and actually get credit for it with some people because he's just like they're the same people that said, oh, he'll fall off because they don't have Tyreek anymore. Now we're like, well, he still has Kelsey. He still has Andy Reid. He has an offensive line that exists. I would argue the elite side of their offensive line, the right tackle is not a good situation, and the rest of the line at times hasn't played up to par. So I don't know if it's elite, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good offensive line. I'm not going to deny that. But he gets no credit because everyone's just like, yeah, it's because of the people around him. Instead of just watching Mahomes and being like, that dude's actually just really fucking good at football.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, keep the debates coming, and let's keep it rolling.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this rolling on because we got some few more games
Today, Hello Emma said today he didn't have Juju or Nicole and it worked out. And then he basically lost Kadarius Toney some point in the first half. So he lost his top 3 wide receivers and still threw for 300 plus yards. If I'm going to be honest, Chris, and people might think I'm wrong here and might think I'm a homer. If
you are a homer.
If the 32 GMs, if this was an open draft and you had the number 1 pick and you could pick whoever you wanted for your team with the number 1 pick, everyone's available.
Yep.
Out of the 32 GMs, I think 30 take Mahomes.
The other 2 take Allen?
Yeah. And that's it.
I mean,
sorry.
No, it's those are the top 2 guys. I mean, if you were a GM and you didn't take those guys, if you had to start a team completely from scratch and you were taking one player with the rosters of what you've seen from those players, I think if you didn't go with one of those 2, you should be fired as a GM, probably, right? I mean, those 2 guys are prolific at the moment. I mean, and from a career standpoint, even Josh Allen started out slow, got better he's kind of one of those crazy ones where it's like we were kind of selling on him the first couple of years, kind of like what we're doing with Pickett, which is why we can't always sell every young player, after a year or 2, right? I mean, you got to kind of give him some love, right? Allen has blossomed after that. Doesn't happen very often, but it does. It does happen. And you have a Mahomes who just blossomed right off the top. It's just
an MVP in his first season.
So here's the thing. You're not wrong. That's the landscape of what this is. I choose Andre Iguodala's degrees, and I love that pick too. Iggy's in the mix. I'm telling you.
Yeah, good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, I'll take Iggy all day. Hey. I mean, he's been in the league for 100 years. Sergeant Electro, let's go. All right, guys. Keep them coming. Keep all the questions coming. Keep all the thoughts coming. We need to get to this Broncos-Raiders game. We're not going to spend a lot of time because why would we?
It's the stuff that dreams are made of with this coaching matchup, Chris.
We'll get to that redemption here in a second, Rec. But let's get a couple more of these under our belt, or at least this one. Raiders and Broncos, 2 of the worst coach teams in the NFL, potentially. And the Broncos just...
Actually, I'm going to let you talk about it because I'm going to talk about it after you.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a code yellow real quick.
Code yellow, spam it in the chat for Scotty. Go ahead, spam. Let's go. By the way, Sergeant Electro, where are you from and who's your team? I'd like to get to know you a little bit. Let's all welcome Sergeant Electro. But before the game happened, I got a text, I got a tweet saying that the Broncos decided, whether it was the coaches, Coach Hackett, or somebody else in the organization, was like, oh, we're gonna take away my responsibilities as play caller and give it to Coobs. Baby Kubiak. We're gonna see what he can do. Daddy Kubiak. Well, Baby Kubiak. Everyone loves the daddy stuff. And we're going baby in this instance. So we're like, okay, I'm excited. Because honestly, Hackett calling the plays isn't it. He's not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
So to see what Kubiak had to do, and they came out, and this is me as a Broncos fan. As a Broncos fan, this is the storyline of a game, of me watching a football game, sitting there on the couch, getting ready for the game. It kicks off. The Broncos have an incredible first drive, or something that happens in the first few minutes of the game that gets me excited. And they bait me into it. They make me think that this game is going to be different. And then And then everything just disappears, and then I'm back in the real world, and I wake up from my nap, and they suck the rest of the game. So that's just if you're not used to watching a full Broncos game, that's kind of the nutshell movie trailer for being a Broncos fan. So, with that being said, Broncos end up doing some good things. They led a lot in this game, and they were looking good defensively. They looking great as always. They were giving up some yards on the ground. I get that. So there was an issue there, but they just that's just the roller coaster that I live in with between the first quarter and everything else after that, and it just falls apart. But there's positives you could take away, which they're not much because I mean, look at what we're doing this year. You'll take the little wins. All the bad teams are like, it's the little things that matter. Well, we're working on the little things.
What were the little things today, Chris?
We actually tried to mix up some of the play calling and not throw in the flats every single play. So we threw downfield a couple times. That was cool. And our defense was they gave up some yardage on the ground, so that wasn't great. But overall, I mean, I thought the game looked slightly more creative than it typically does. Slightly. It's still bad. We still only put up 16 points. So there's still issues. But I digress. Real quick, Sergeant Electro, Bills. It was once said that someone had to win this game. Yeah, and it went into overtime, and someone
own head coach said that, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. I heard that soundbite before the game started, and then it went to overtime, and it's like maybe nobody wins this game. It doesn't change the fact that the Raiders are still a bad team. It doesn't change the fact that the Broncos are still a bad team. They're both bad, bad, horribly coached. And
Raiders are 1-7 when they don't play the Broncos,
and then they're 2-0 in those games.
Yeah. My biggest frustration, because I was on the Broncos as one of my bets of the week, Chris. So I was on the Broncos a little bit, trying to cheer for them. My biggest frustration, you're in a game, at the time they were up 16-13, okay? Late in the game. The 2-minute warning just eclipsed, they hit the 2-minute warning. Raiders were out of timeouts. The Broncos had a 3rd and 10. 3rd and 10. I don't know if the coaching staff had not seen this offense perform all season, but they're not going to pick up a 3rd and 10. They're just not. This offense sucks dick. So why not the other team, who's scored 13 points at that time, by the way, through 58 minutes, why not run 50 seconds off the clock if you could? No. Instead, the Broncos try and throw the ball on 3rd and 10. Obviously, almost sacked, incomplete. That doesn't move the clock. Instead of the Raiders having like a minute to go to get a field goal, they have a minute 43. Like a huge difference in a game where, like, your offense has sucked all season. Just run the ball. You're not picking it up on 3rd and 10 when you throw. Keep the clock going. Keep the damn clock going. They couldn't figure that out, and then
it's clock management.
They were
it's
somehow in overtime. They were surprised that like maybe guard Devontae Adams, but beyond that, great game by Denver.
Well, and Sergeant Electro, if Denver won, would Hackett's seat still be hotter than McDaniels? They're both hot. They're both hot seats.
Red hot.
They're both. I mean, they might.
Hackett's done after this year.
Hackett's probably done. I mean, he's
probably. He's done.
Well, what is he? He's relinquished play calling, so he's not doing that. So what? I mean, he's. What is he doing? What is he doing as a head coach? I don't understand what his responsibilities are. If he's not calling the plays anymore, if he's not doing anything that he's supposed to be when it comes to game time management, he got a game time manager up in the booth that he hired early on in the season to do that for him. He's having everyone delegated out for this coaching staff. And what's he doing now? He's not making any decisions. He's not doing anything.
If Hackett is not gone, as a Bronco fan, you should be absolutely irate.
Probably, yeah. I probably will be on that bandwagon. So, real quick, is Jeff Saturday better than Hackett and McDaniels at the moment? I mean,
Everyone's better than Hackett.
everybody's better than
And McDaniels has beat Hackett twice, so I'll give him the nod.
What's what's your take on Wilson? Says Ted. He's not an elite quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback.
He's done.
He's not what we thought we were getting.
Here's the problem, Chris. You're going to get rid of Hackett, and you're not going to get a good head coach otherwise, because the head coach that's coming in is going to know they have to deal with the situation, which is your money is tied to Russell Wilson, and that's a bad thing. That's a very, very bad thing. Like, honestly, it's the least attractive job probably out there. I don't care how good your defense is, and it's very good. But it's shown this year it does not matter. It doesn't matter.
Cash pay average.
Your money and your situation is tied to a quarterback that appears to be cooked. Very much cooked. Not good.
Say something nice about Nathaniel Hackett. He's a positive guy. He likes.
He's a player's coach.
He's a positive minded guy. That's all I got to say positive about him.
He's terrified. He knows he's in over his head. You see pictures, you see press conferences. He knows. He knows he was in over his head. He didn't at the time, but positive. Yeah, players coach. Players when they're winning, like in Green Bay, loved him. Him.
So this is a shit situation for my Broncos, obviously. Yeah, it's just bad across the board. By the way, can Melvin Gordon stop fumbling the damn football every single time? He wonders why he loses his job. Anyways, I just needed to get that out.
Yeah. Fumble again today.
Other channel point redemption. We have to say something negative about Patty Mahomes. So that was redeemed by Rec. So something negative about Patty Mahomes. He doesn't quarterback sneak very good. There we go.
His brother is not the best.
You just go in the high road there. We'll trade you Jalen Warren for a third, says Rec. Nah, I don't know. I mean, I guess whatever. I don't know. I'm indifferent at this point. Trade for Cooper Rush? No.
Hello, Emma. His voice sucks. That's true.
His voice.
Pat Mahomes.
He sounds like Kermit.
Super, like the most bizarre voice you can ever imagine. It's weird.
Oh my goodness, it's bad. So next up, this game was literally.
Congrats. You got lucky on this.
I got lucky. This
was destined for a 3-3 tie.
Oh my goodness, this was gonna be a 3-3 try. So this game was 3-3 going into overtime. Overtime, guys. Like that was the game. Can you imagine watching this game is like watching paint dry? So I'm thinking to myself as one of my best bets of the week. So this is one of my top bets. Patriots -3.5. And like I didn't get it at 3. I got it late, so I got it at 3.5. And that hook was killing me. Because I knew if this ends in regulation, it's going to be a field goal, and I'm going to be screwed, and I'm going to lose by half a point. Goes into overtime, so I'm like, oh, I have a shot. But knowing how this game has been unfolding, it's not going to be pretty for me. I'm just hoping for just a random touchdown. And sure enough, the kickoff gets taken back for a touchdown, and I was celebrating. I was like, man, this is one of the most crazy endings of the worst game I've ever watched. Like, it was from 0 to 1,000,000 in less than 30 seconds. And I was like, all right, I'll take it. And I cover. So Patriots end up winning here, make me look a little bit better on my best bet of the week. But that doesn't change the fact that this game was absolutely abysmal. I mean, I'm pulling up the stats of this game here. And we have Zach Wilson throwing for 77 yards. 77 yards.
Sorry, what? I have a stat that I'll follow up with, but yeah, 77.
At one point, At one point, I thought they only had like 19 yards in the second quarter or something total, or something ridiculous. I could be thinking of another 3-3 game too, but they all the 3-3 games blend together in this one. But the fact that it was this bad of a game, I mean, Mac Jones, 246 yards. That's all he had going for him. 99 yards rushing on one side for New England, 59 yards total rushing for the New York Jets in this one. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, this is crazy, Scotty. I mean, total yards.
Like, in a way, I think you got lucky, right? Like a punt return
100%
touchdown
lucky.
win.
100.
But you also got unlucky in the sense like the Jets were awful in this game offensively. Awful. So, Chris, the Jets completed 9 passes in this game. They punted 10 times. They punted more often than they completed passes in this game. That should be a forfeit. That should be a forfeit in its own. And one of their punts equaled a touchdown for the other team. So I don't know how to feel about it all, Chris. But when you punt more than you complete passes, you deserve to lose. Both these teams should have lost today. The Patriots were fortunate that they played the lowly fucking Jets that can't figure out shit at all on offense. I mean, the Patriots kicker was like 1 for 3. Nick Folk wasn't good. He missed a couple, but it ultimately did not matter. Somehow, Chris, you covered on a minus spread without a offensive touchdown.
Can I get that in like the betting Hall of Fame? Like, I just want to have that as my. That's one of my pure accomplishments. I was able to cover, a minus 3.5 point spread. Yeah, it's insane. What we had.
Rec was like and also they started the game 10 minutes late due to technical difficulties. They should have just eliminated 10 minutes from the clock, quite frankly, to save us from having to watch this game at all.
The Jets.
This game was an abomination of the league. Both these teams should be thrown out immediately. I don't know what else to say about this outside of it was a disaster on both ends.
Mr. Boofus, the football field is longer than the yards they threw for. It gets better. 5 yards in the second half, I think, says Sargent.
I feel like I could get 5 yards.
And then Jets punter might win special teams player of the week. Actually, might be
probably should.
Yeah, it like this game. Zach Reckoning says Zach has more completions than the size of his feet. I guess. Heyo.
He might have big feet. I don't know.
The poor souls that had to watch this game as football wife. Emma's like, yeah, this is insane. This is it's so bad that it was like it might have been almost good.
Don't jump to good.
It's so bad that it was almost watchable.
It was so bad that it was somewhat entertaining at how bad it was. Just say that.
Guys, this one couldn't stop watching.
Couldn't stop watching the train wreck that was occurring.
But see, I'm like one of those guys that I love if there's like a blowout or if there's some weird stats that are happening, I want to see how crazy those stats can get. Like if there's a team that has like 5 yards in the first half, I want them to get no yards in the second half. I want it to be a ridiculous like stat. I love ridiculous stats.
Why do you cheer against the Broncos like that?
Come on, man.
Bruh.
I mean, that's pretty accurate.
Well, now we're just
they're the most likely to do it. Giro's like, I don't care. Zilf. She's like, I don't care about the football game. I just want to look at Zach Wilson.
There you go. That's a reason why.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's entertaining awful. Yeah. Pat's defense helped me do a fantasy win. So yeah, it's easy when the other team doesn't throw for more than 100 yards. Well, they had 100 in like 1 or 2 or something like that.
Both teams should have lost today.
just can't have the game. I don't think there was a turnover in this game either. Crazy. It's wild. Another game that took place today, which the Eagles and the Colts. you have two teams that are kind of going into this game with weird storylines, right? You have the Eagles on one side, who have been undefeated for most of the season, lose a bad game to the Washington Commanders. And then you have the Colts on the other end, who Matt Ryan was not it. And then he comes in and he gets benched at one point. They change coach. They hire Jeff Saturday, who has never coached a game in his career at the NFL level, overshot all these other, coaches on the roster and elsewhere to default to be on this team. Gets his first win against the Raiders, and then comes back, has a big test against the Eagles, and almost pulls this off. Almost. Hey, he got a Bronco jersey. My condolences. Says, hey, I'll take your condolences. Hey, jump in. Hey, who's your team and where you're from? Like to get to know you a little bit. Welcome in. You're gonna fit right at home here, by the way. Just hey, it's great to have you here.
Don't feel that bad. They handed them out for free out here.
Yeah. It's like candy.
Bronco jerseys are like free at this point.
And we have a Dolphins fan. Nice, love it. Hey, Dolphins looking decent with Tua, right? Looking good. They have a great offense.
Tua and a guy named Tyreek. I've heard about him.
And Waddle.
I haven't seen him play before. But
and Waddle's pretty good too. Waddle.
Yeah, decent wide receiver core, I've heard.
So welcome in. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of the stream. Again, if you guys are here and new, we're going to be doing some World Cup coverage tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. Hit that follow button if you have not already. Make sure you guys are part of the action each and every Wednesday and Sunday. And every time we do any kind of USA World Cup stuff, make sure
it's worth it.
It's worth it.
If you don't know soccer, it does not matter. We're not going to make it complicated. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to lose our shit at the U.S. scores.
It's going to be worth
the
price.
I might run around naked.
It's going to be worth the price of admission.
And now we lost all our followers. And I'm sorry, I won't run around naked.
Well, it would be a TOS, terms of service. It gets in the way of that. But
obviously, I wouldn't break terms of service. That would be devastating.
But Eagles and Colts. Eagles get only a 1-point win against the Colts team that kind of seems to be turning things around. Maybe with this new head coach Jeff Saturday. I don't know. We'll see. But here we are, Scotty. The Eagles could have easily lost this game, but end up just eking out a win in this one.
Yeah, I don't even think they had a lead until they kicked a field goal at the end of the game. This literally, I was with Cowboys fans. This came down to the Colts late in the game, up 3, had a 1st and goal at the Philly 5. And they had to settle for a field goal. They didn't do anything on 1st and 2nd down, got sacked on 3rd down, had to settle for a field goal. And at that time, I was just like, they're going to lose now. Like, Philly's going to score a touchdown. They're going to win 17-16. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Do you feel good as a Philly fan? No, you don't. Like, didn't play great. The offense was sputtering. Took a long time to get there. You had to fight and claw for a win against a team that's not very good. But they got the W. But the Eagles have taken a step back the last couple of weeks. I think right now, I would say they're not the best team in the NFC. I would rank the Cowboys right now as better than them. Just saying.
Yeah.
Right now.
At the moment.
Things can change.
2 weeks ago, it was the Eagles by far, right? I mean, but then, a lot changes.
Not by far, but yes, it was the Eagles.
I mean, if you were saying you weren't taking anyone but the Eagles 2 weeks ago before the Commanders win. So, Eagles, by the way, interesting stat here. When they're trailing by 10-plus points entering the fourth quarter they don't do that very often. And come out on top, right? So
what was the stat?
When they were trailing by 10 plus points entering the fourth quarter for the first time since 2010, which by the way they lost that game, Deshaun Jackson, I should say, walk-off punt return for a touchdown. Philadelphia had lost 41 straight since when entering the fourth quarter, trailing by 10 plus points. So they were able to get history back on on track with at least breaking that streak, 41 straight. So crazy. But again, I think you're right on this one. You're not exactly feeling, if we're buying stocks right now, the Eagles stock is kind of starting to come down off of its peak a little bit, right? It's kind of starting to, take the turn.
To me, it's closer to where I always thought they were. Very good, but not great. And Ted FX is like, Eagles already beat Dallas and Minnesota. Yeah, they have to beat Dallas again on the road against the starting quarterback for Dallas. Cooper Kupp played last time, and it was in Philly. Yeah, they beat him. But this Philly team is good. Very good. Are they great? No. If they make the Super Bowl, they would be an underdog. Although, to be fair, any team in the NFC will probably be an underdog.
Well, we were taking
the AFC rep.
I mean, I think the AFC is stronger, right? I mean, they've I think that's pretty fair. But I mean, still, I think the Eagles still do a lot on the defensive side and offensive side of the football.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, they do it on all three facets because, they're good in the secondary. They're good in the, against the run.
Run defense is their kind of like Achilles heel a little bit.
They've had a little bit, yeah. But
the pass D is great. The offense
is, they have weapons
good when
all
everyone's
over the place.
on board.
Exactly.
It was a little inconsistent today, but they got it done late. They finally figured it out and got the ball moving late in the game, and credit to them.
Yeah.
They're winning close football games.
No, I mean, and some of these close games really, I mean, after
you remember the last team we said credit that they're winning close football games, Chris?
I don't.
What team that was? Do you know what team that was?
I'm not sure what you're. Who
it was the Minnesota Vikings, and then they lost 40-3 today. So,
yep.
Again, credit to winning close football games. But are you as good as your record? No. No, the Eagles aren't like 9-1 good or whatever they are. They're much closer to like 7-3, and there's nothing wrong with that. 7-3 is a really good football team. They're just not 9-1 good.
Hey, Ted FX. By the way, I thought you were following already. For some reason, I thought you were already following. But hey, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that, Ted. I know you're always in here. Pronounce a name of my choice. Oh, of your choice. We got Isaiah Loudermilk.
I mean, that one's easy. It's definitely Isaiah Loudermilk.
Yeah.
I remember that guy.
Part of me was looking at that like, is this one of those ones where it's like those try to get you to say something with the name,
right.
I thought that's what that was. And then I was like, no, what could I be saying? By the way, thank you so much for the follows. We had Ted. We had, what is it? Dull Windersea? Thank you so much for the follows. Appreciate that love. Thank you and welcome. So yeah, on this end, the Colts on the other side of this one. And I mean, they went back to Matt Ryan, only 213 yards. Still, I think Matt Ryan's Matt Ryan. I you know how I feel about Matt Ryan. Jonathan Taylor, 84 yards, 1 touchdown on this one. So, got going on the running game a little bit. But the Indianapolis Colts, 4-6-1, 2-3 at home. And the Eagles improved to 9-1. So, looking ahead to the next matchup, you got the Eagles return home to face Green Bay on Sunday. So, I mean, should be a fairly manageable game. I think the Eagles are definitely the better team of the two, but we'll see. I think that's going to be a nice matchup for the Philadelphia Eagles to continue their run here. And Pittsburgh is the host, or the Colts host Pittsburgh on Monday night. So there you go. All right. Titans and Packers. We, obviously Thursday night football. This was unfortunately one of my best bets of the week that lost by a lot. I like the Packers a lot. I saw some trends going both ways, and I was like, the trend I really liked leaned towards Packers. They were getting, to be, the home team for a couple games in a row, which they hadn't had for a while. They were on the road a ton. They were in Europe for one game, and they were just back and forth. I called the game against the Dallas Cowboys. I figured that was a good get back spot, and Dallas struggles on the road in cold environments. So I felt good about that one. I felt good about the Packers coming in. I thought I was kind of gambling in a sense, gambling on the second game of the Packers offense getting on track. They did well against the did some good things against the Dallas Cowboys. I thought they were going to improve on those things, and that did not happen. My gamble did not pay off, and they got run over literally and lose to the Titans 27-17 on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch this one, honestly, I haven't always seen what's happening with the Packers offensively. Like, who is it? What's the problem? Everyone blames wide receivers, offensive line. No one blames Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers missed a ton of open dudes on Thursday night. Ton of wide open opportunities, and he just missed, and then he throws his arms up in the air and he's just like, what happened there? It was like, oh, you actually fucking suck at throwing the football all of a sudden. Yeah, the Packers weren't able to make a run with ample opportunities because of Aaron Rodgers. I put it in the chat, Milwaukee, who I think is here right now. I said, who's more disappointing between the offense and defense? And Milwaukee definitely went offense, and I definitely go defense. I think the offense is certainly underwhelming. That's why it's a good question, and you could argue either side. But that defense, in my mind, was supposed to be elite. And they aren't close to that.
We had them ranked the number one defense going into the season.
Yeah, not even close. Not even close. They're not even like top, like half of the league in my mind. Like literally that second half I was watching, and like Ryan Tannehill was fucking dominating him along with Derrick Henry. They couldn't stop that offense at all. And by the way, that offense sucks. The Titans' offense is not their strength, not by any means, and the Packers' defense was just a no-show in my mind. So for me, I expected more from the Packers' defense, and that's why it's a bigger failure for me. The offense I thought was going to struggle a bit, has and will. Both are worse than I expected, but the defense is a larger drop-off because I thought they were going to be, we had them ranked 1. I thought certainly they'd be top 2 in the league based off talent and roster and situation.
Yeah. And
it's not like they're playing great football teams. The Titans punted like 137 times last week against the Broncos.
Yeah.
And then against the Packers, they just marched the ball down the field.
I mean, it's just strange to see how bad they've been. And I mean, they've been investing over the years in defense, and sure enough, they're trying to keep that up. I mean, they haven't been drafting wide receivers in the first round. They haven't been giving Aaron Rodgers the help he needs in the draft. So your defense better be good if you're putting all that stock and all the resources into that. And it just has been a big letdown. Now, asking about Jordan Love, do the Packers not like Jay Love? They don't believe in him. If they would have believed in him, they wouldn't be dealing with Aaron Rodgers bullshit right now. So, they just know he's not it, and they just have to be stuck with what they have with Aaron Rodgers at the moment because, I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. They're losing games regardless. So, I mean, pick your poison. They gave Rodgers $50 million per year. They're forced to play him, says Rec. Packers aren't a playoff team. Dallas choked in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers gave up in the fourth, says Dahlwinder. Degrees, Brady and Aaron got to retire. I mean, here's the thing. To your point, Degrees, Brady and Aaron Rodgers, they're not having fun this year. Can we just say that like it is? You got Brady blaming everybody. You got in the world. You got Aaron Rodgers blaming everybody but himself and not taking responsibility, yelling at people on the sidelines, yelling at referees, yelling at coaches. I mean, they're not having fun.
No.
Yeah.
Probably personal life involved there, but yeah. No, they're both disasters on the field, and it's kind of sad and embarrassing at times.
Never liked Matt LaFleur, but could figure out why obvious this year. McCarthy, he's been carried by Rodgers. Now Rodgers is no longer good. This whole season is a giant abortion. I mean, if you want to go that deep into it, Milwaukee's aggressive.
There's no in game that seems good now if you're a Packers fan. It's downhill from here.
Disasters in pop culture also. Yeah, I mean, well, you also have the whole FTX thing with Brady, which that's a weird story too. Oof.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right, let's keep moving because we're getting to the end of the night here for us. So let's get through some of these other games. Commanders at Texans. We have the Commanders 23, Texans 10. The Texans, I think this was the game where I was like, I think the Texans only had maybe like 20 yards of offense total at a certain point in this game. I think that was the game I was thinking about. Davis Mills, 169 yards, 2 interceptions, not much there. The Houston rushing, 21 yards. That's it as a team. This was just dominated by Washington, and Washington all of a sudden looks up and they're 6-5. Go figure. The Commanders, who we didn't really have high expectations for, all of a sudden, I mean, again, you put away the bad teams like Houston. Houston drops to 1-8-1, and you have to win this game. And this one, Washington was up 20-0 at halftime, and just it didn't ever look like Houston was going to come back in this one. But there you have it.
Yeah, not a lot of time on this one. If you would have told me this game didn't occur today, I would have been like, yeah, you're probably right. Nothing to see here. Texans are awful. Washington all of a sudden on a 3-game winning streak. All of a sudden, the Washington Commanders versus Detroit Lions could be like a playing game if they could even do it. Like, these teams are red hot.
Heineke.
Don't have a lot of respect for Heineke. Hated the fact that he cheered that bullshit call on Monday night last week. You can be excited. Just don't cheer. Don't cheer aggressively for a bullshit call that you sold and faked. Didn't like it. Like his aggression, and like he's the right call in Washington. He's better than the douchebag Wentz. But either way, this game existed but doesn't need to have existed. If that makes sense.
Degrees. I thought Mills was supposed to be good. Well, he had flashes last year, and this was a.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever supposed to be good.
This was
there was splashes.
Let's see what we got season. I mean, there's a lot of players. I was talking about that with Danny Dimes. I was talking about that in a lot of these other conversations with, Tua, and all. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks this year. This was the year of the let's see what this guy can do, and we found out what he can do.
Chris, if anyone in our chat right now is like, oh man, I hate soccer, I just can't get into it, and watch this football game for more than 2 minutes, go fuck yourself. Watch us tomorrow on soccer, because I promise you that 2 minutes was worse than than the soccer tomorrow.
You could argue,
I don't even care what happens in that 2 minutes of soccer.
You could argue
it does not matter.
Salty. You could argue that for the Patriots game. You could argue that for the Ravens game. You could argue that for this game. Tomorrow's match will be more exciting than some of these games that we saw this weekend.
Yeah. And this game didn't need to exist.
Back to the Ravens. All right, so let's look at the best bets of the week. Let's see how we did. Now, the teaser, KC, turns green for me, so let me update mine. And then we are all up to date with our picks and how we did this week. So,
very mediocre this week, but not terrible.
We were both 50-50 this week. So, hey, we're going to have down weeks, and if the down week is a 50-50 week, let's get it. I'll take a 50-50 week if it's my worst week. We are 29-14-1 and 27-17 combined. That's a hell of a record for betting against the spread. Yeah. I mean, hey, we're crushing, Scotty.
Somehow you had 15 losses going into this week, and now you're at 14.
Did I? No, I didn't.
I'm gonna have to check the math on that one, Chris.
But
I like it regardless.
Either way, it's I mean, 15, 14,
I'm
whatever it's
joking.
at.
I have no idea. I'm
I
joking.
was gonna say, I'm pretty good at just updating a couple numbers on here. We'll see. But did Jets Pats not deserve to exist too? Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
Hello, Emma. That feels like an insult to soccer. I love soccer.
It kind of was, and I love soccer. I'm all on board tomorrow,
Yeah.
as you all should be.
Guys, which you guys should be a part of it as well. We will be live when that, maybe a little bit before, I don't know, depending on the schedules. If you hit that follow button, you'll know exactly when we go live. So make sure you guys hit the follow button. But here's where our picks of the week are landing at the moment. So we're going to try to improve these records coming Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, we will do another week 12 preview. And we're also going to give out 4 bets of the week each to try to improve on what we've done so far. It's going to be a lot of fun. We can't wait for you guys to be a part of it.